everyone in Edmonton. Welcome to the market update for the month of June. I know we're kind of deep into July already, but I finally got all the right data and thought I would get this video off to you. Hope you enjoy it. By the way, if you look on the screen, you'll see our new Edmonton website, and I'm quite excited about this because it is probably one of the best sites to look for properties in and around Edmonton that there are, because you'll notice I have the towns, of course, around Edmonton. So if you're looking anything around towns, I've got everything based on approximate areas around Edmonton. So I've got a grid there, which makes it really easy to find the communities that you're searching for. I've got all of the counties around Edmonton, and I've also got price ranges. So whatever way you want to search is there. I've got 24-hour live help if you have questions, and it's not a bot, it's an actual live person. So you'll find that the information here is accurate. It's got schools information on here. It's got what's going on in the community. It's just a fantastic site to be able to look for properties. So I would encourage you to use it. It's rvredmonton.ca. Now let's get right into some stats. So this is a new charting system that I just subscribed to, which I really like because probably like you, I love looking at the market trends to see just where we're going. Everyone always asks me, well, where is the market doing and where is it going? So the best way to understand where it's going is to just see where we've been so you can get an idea of what's happening. And you'll notice that it's been very interesting since July of 2022, because you'll notice that we had a median price of $402,125. And here we are at the end of June at $387,994. So not much has gained ground since last July, but I wanted to put it into perspective. Last July, there was a lot of people very fearful that the interest rates were going to cause the market to go down and correct. And if you look at the stats here, all the way through the fall and into the winter months, prices actually did drop in Edmonton, primarily because a whole bunch of buyers figured I'll wait and see what happens with these interest rates, because maybe if I wait, the prices will go down and I'll get a better deal. And believe me, there was a ton of people that thought that would happen, because I guess logically it makes sense on paper, but it just goes to show nobody can predict a market. I don't care who you are. I don't care what kind of an expert you are, what kind of data you have. We can't predict these markets, and nobody could have predicted that prices would rebound and are actually rising. But the biggest factor in this is we have a ton of people moving to Alberta and a ton of people moving to Edmonton. And why not? Edmonton is a large city with all of the amenities, great place to live, and it's got affordable housing. So why wouldn't you flock to Edmonton? And I think we're going to see a lot more of that. And that's why these interest rates really haven't affected us too much, because you're going to see it in these charts I'm going to show you. We're entering more into a seller's market environment with lower levels of inventory and high demand. All right, let's get into the stats here for the entire residential market. So this actually includes condominium, by the way. So just put that into perspective. So we have an absorption rate for all properties in and around Edmonton at 38.75%. In layman's terms, that means that almost 34% of all of the properties listed sold. And that's down slightly from May, but that's still a pretty healthy market as far as an absorption rate goes. And you can see that's what we would consider to be a balanced market. And, and if things do keep going the way that they're headed, I think we might see getting even closer to a seller's market where you're getting into that 50 percentile. The prices, as you'll notice, we already looked at that a little bit. We're down slightly year over year at $388,923 because, as I mentioned, with the fear of the interest rates going. Now let's take a look at the hard data. So 1,755 properties sold out of 5,200. And you might think, well, that's not that great, but it actually is. But it just goes to show right at this very moment, buyers still have a pretty good choice. And it just also goes to show that, if you're a seller you still have to be very realistic and be competitive when you're pricing your property, because buyers do have choice. But I will tell you this, we've seen it. Some properties in Edmonton, if they're really good value, they're selling in 1 or 2 days. So some stuff is really going quickly, but on average, it's taking about 42 days to sell. And that's what we call a balanced market. It's a pretty healthy market. It's both good for buyers. It's both good for sellers, meaning if you're a seller, you're getting a fair price for your place. And if it's a buyer, you have choice. You can take your time a little bit. In most cases, you don't have to rush in, but I would advise you, if you're a buyer and you see something good, I wouldn't sit on the fence too long, because there are some stuff moving pretty quick. This is my favorite chart, market distribution. I love seeing where the majority of the buyers are, and as prices change, you can see how that market distributes a little bit differently. And this is what I mentioned about why Edmonton is so attractive. To think that we still have a big part of the entire market, that you can buy properties under 200,000. When you consider how many places in Canada, that's not even possible. I mean, there's places in Canada you can't even get a garage for $200,000. And for Edmonton, when you combine condos and single family dwellings, 24.32% of the market is between $300,000 and $400,000. So like I said, that's very affordable. And there's jobs in Edmonton. So this is really positive for this market. You can see what's coming on strong. 400 to 500,000 is now 18.61%. And even 5 to 600 is now 10% of the market. But what's really interesting about Edmonton is that the majority of the properties are under $600,000. And for a major city in Canada, that is the most competitive place to buy real estate. In other words, you get the best bang for your buck buying real estate in this city. Okay, let's break it down for detached. This is all the detached houses. The absorption rate is pretty similar to the entire market at 32.67%. Same thing, down slightly from May, which was at 34.95%. Our average price at $490,103.64%. So, like I said, good value here to this day. And you can see, if you look at the steadiness of Edmonton, 482,000. This is for the entire year so far. That's not these charts up here were just for the month, but this is the entire year at 482. If you go all the way back to 2014, that was 439. So you can see that Edmonton is quite known for not rising at ridiculously high rates, but also not losing a lot of ground, which makes it more of a stable market to invest. You might not make a ton of money over a 5-year period than a lot of other markets, but if markets correct, Edmonton doesn't seem to correct as much either. So there's some security in that, which I really like about Edmonton. Now, if we move down here, let this kind of clear up, 980 out of 3. So a pretty decent, healthy market that really is fair to both the buyers and the sellers. So it just makes it a really good environment right now to be looking for real estate in Edmonton. I personally think Edmonton is a great place to invest long term. If you're looking for an investment, or if you're just looking to move to a city that offers everything you possibly could want and have it be affordable, this is really the place to be. 40 days on market on average to sell a house. So that's pretty decent. And if you look at down here at the market distribution, you can see that the bulk of these listings for detached are running between $300,000 and $500,000. That shouldn't be any big surprise for any of you that are watching this video. But I just think, wow, that's amazing that I can get a pretty decent house in and around Edmonton for between $300,000 and $500,000 in today's market. With inflation the way it is, that's really attractive. And then if you move even to 5 to 600, which is 17.43% of the market, or 6 to 7, I can tell you there are some beautiful homes in Edmonton between $500,000 and $700,000. So you just get a really nice property, and I can't say enough for the value that you get for any properties in and around Edmonton. So if you're looking at Edmonton to buy, definitely reach out and talk to me, and I'll give you a little bit more deeper lay of the land and show you some of the pockets that I think would be great areas around Edmonton to invest in. And if you're thinking of selling, yes, this is a great time to sell as well, because I said it's competitive, meaning that you're going to get a decent price for your house. And mark my words, there are some strategies that we use to do that. And it's not just taking fancy photos, although that's what we do as well. But there are some strategies on a few minor things you can do inside your home to bring a lot of value, some specific marketing that we do. And believe it or not, I have a negotiation strategy for each individual property that we create. Just like a marketing strategy, we have a negotiation strategy. And if you reach out to me, I'll do a deeper dive on that. I talk a lot about it in my book that I just recently wrote too, which I'll also give you a copy if you just have me over for no charge whatsoever. Okay, let's take a look at the condo market in Edmonton. So we have an absorption rate here of 17.19%. So, this actually makes sense, because when you can buy all kinds of single family dwellings for $300,000 to $500,000, Edmonton's not going to be the biggest robust market for condominium, because for not too much more money, you can get into a house or a single family dwelling, semi-detached, whatever, townhouse. There's lots of choice. So just understand that. But on the flip side, look at these prices, $183,734. It's even down 8% from last June. And I think that this because a lot of people did and continue to buy these single family dwellings. But that being said, there's always an opportunity with everything you look at. And if you want to get into some lower priced real estate by way of a condo, this isn't a bad investment. Some people are buying these up, 2 and 3 at a time and hanging on to them for the long term. And, they're good to rent out, but they're also great if your income maybe isn't that strong and you just want to get into the market and not rent. Edmonton is a perfect opportunity to do that with condos. So you'll notice that, way back in 2014, the market peaked at 252, and you can see the market hasn't been kind to Edmonton in all these years, because it was, not a great market for all of Alberta from 2016 to 2020. But I personally think that we're probably getting near the bottom on all this for condos, and the value is really there. You just really have to have a long-term perspective. But, the contrarian thinking is buy when things are on sale. And stuff is on sale for condominiums right now in Edmonton. So I think it's worthy to take a look at that if you are looking at an investment opportunity, or, like I said, a first-time buyer, or maybe downsizing from the house. You've reached that age where the kids are gone. You want to just maybe travel a little more. Obviously, a condo can be really good for that too. So let's take a look at the hard numbers. 331 out of 1,925. And that is slightly better than May. And you can see, other than January, it's been a pretty consistent amount of sales that are going through Edmonton in the last 12 months. 54 days on market is on average what it takes to sell a property. And for some strange reason, I don't know why the chart didn't pull up the market distribution, but I can tell you hands down, the majority of the properties are right here under 199. It literally is going to be probably 40% of the market, and it kind of drops off a cliff to 200,000 to 300,000. And Edmonton just does not have too big of a market at all once you break $300,000. So it's pretty obvious to know that most of the condominiums are under $300,000. So I'll leave you with this thought. If you're looking at the market to sell, now I'm showing you the overall stats, and of course you need to look at the community that you live in, and you need to look at the property that you have very closely, because these numbers can really change depending on your location and what you have there. So we use this as a benchmark, and it's a great way to look at the value of real estate from a larger perspective looking down. But I've done this for a very long time, and so when I'm looking at pricing properties, you can tell I look at data very carefully, because pricing is absolutely paramount when you're looking to sell your home. Nobody who's selling wants to give up any money that they shouldn't. And of course, if you are trying to sell, you don't want to just be sitting on the market trying to get a number that you can't get. So there's a real fine line. And that's why having experience like me with data, it works out really well to get the right price. We don't come into your home and charge anything for our initial consultation. We don't even expect anything. Our attitude is, if we come and visit with 10 people, a percentage of those 10 people will probably choose us. A percentage will probably decide it's not the right time, and another percentage will probably choose somebody else. That's the nature of the beast, and we're okay with that. And if you're buying a home, the same thing. Just take some time and learn how to do it successfully. I've always, my entire career, spent time with buyers who are either buying, maybe the second, third, or fourth time, but because you don't do it every day, there's things you can still learn from someone like me, and I take the time to teach you. If you're buying for the first time, well, you'll be like a sponge, and we'll take the time to really show you how that's done. And we can do it on Zoom, or we can meet in person, whatever you're comfortable with. So just reach out, and we'll take it from there. Otherwise, have yourself a wonderful July, and we're going to see you all next month.